guys, so why is sex such a taboo subject? I feel like everywhere I turn I see somebody criticizing it. Either somebody's having too much of it or too little of it, or with somebody they don't want them having sex with, and I'm just so frustrated with all of these stereotypes that go along with it. But really quick before I get started, I want to say it's almost summer, and you know what that means? Huge blockbuster movies coming out every weekend. So if you want to stay up to date on all the latest movie news and reviews, you gotta check out the channel Schmoes Know. These guys are funny and legit, and they're even certified on Rotten Tomatoes. So click right here or in my description box to check out their channel and subscribe, and they're almost at 100,000 subscribers, so let's help get them there. So anyways, back to the video. Why is sex so taboo? I feel like this conversation for a lot of people starts in high school, sometimes before in middle school, which is kind of scary, but high school is a time where sex becomes really important to a lot of people. You're harassed for a number of different reasons, and I feel like there are only really two groups of people who get away with not being harassed. So first you've got the straight guy who's having a lot of sex. You're looked up to. Man, high five, you're banging all these chicks, good for you, you're so awesome. And then we have the cute couples, and even though they're probably having sex, no one really is gonna bother them because they have that innocent and cute factor, so they get away with it. But if you're a single girl, you're screwed. If you're not having sex, you're looked at as prude. If you're having too much sex, you're a slut. I mean, there's such a double standard. If you're a guy and you're doing it, thumbs up, high five. If you're a girl and you're doing it, you're a slut. But last time I checked, it took two people to have sex, so two people doing the exact same thing at the exact same time have two totally different stereotypes, which is total BS and kind of sucks for the girl. Now, a third stereotype I've seen for girls is if they're really bitchy, a lot of people say, somebody needs to get laid, or she hasn't gotten laid in a while. I mean, it's like, you can't win. Either you're not having sex and you're prude, you're bitchy, so you need to have more sex, or if you're having a lot of sex, you're a slut. So girls, sorry, you're screwed. But guys get made fun of all the time too. If you're a virgin or you're having little sex, you're looked at as a loser, you're put down, you're picked on, and a lot of these people become very depressed. And if you're gay, you have to face discrimination from all the Christians, because apparently they care about who you're sleeping with and what you're doing in the bedroom, even if it's just masturbation, because that's a sin too. And a lot of people judge these Christians for doing this. People say, why do Christians care what people are doing in the bedroom? But then they kind of do the same thing themselves. Whenever you put somebody down for what they're doing in the bedroom, whether they're straight or gay or female or male or having too much sex or too little sex, if you're doing any of those things, you're just as bad. Although you're not passing legislation, which is a totally different issue, you're still judging someone based on their sexual activity, and I'm sure almost everyone has done it. I've done it before, and I realized that it was wrong. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have looked at a girl or a guy who's a total dick or asshole or a bitch or whatever you want to say, and they're being really mean and nasty, and you're like, oh, somebody needs to get laid. I'm sure you've done that. Or maybe you've seen a 40-something-year-old guy who's a virgin and you kind of raised an eyebrow. We're all guilty of doing this on some level. Open relationships, polyamory, these are things that make people feel very uncomfortable. And a friend of mine, JT, wrote an article about this, about a married woman who was sleeping around with other men, and her husband was cool with it because they had an open relationship. These are things that make a lot of people uncomfortable, but I don't think it really should. And by the way, I'll have a link to that article in the description below if you want to check it out. But polyamory and open relationships aren't something that a lot of people are comfortable with personally, but that doesn't mean you should judge other people for doing it. I think a lot of us have this inherent sense of jealousy that goes along with a relationship. When you're with someone, you want to be the only one with them, and you want them to be the only one with you, and that's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. But some people don't feel the same way, and we should be okay with that. And with the statistics out there of people who are being cheated on, people who try to see people who have girlfriends or boyfriends and they don't care. I even had a friend that did that. I mean, there's so many things like that that happen. Maybe polyamory isn't so bad. We're animals after all. Maybe that's how we were meant to be, and society has just changed our minds. Yeah, I've had friends who have gone after guys who knew they had girlfriends, and it didn't stop them at all. I've had guys hit on me, and I say, hey, I have a boyfriend. They don't even bat an eye. So if you want to stand up to somebody who's doing stuff like that and say something, then fine. If you have a problem with that, I can understand. Or if you have a friend who's practicing unsafe sex and you're concerned and you want to say, hey, use a condom, hey, take the pill, hey, get an STD check, fine. I've had to do that for friends before too. But those are the only situations where I can kind of see imposing your opinion on someone else. For every other thing that I've talked about, why do you care what people are doing in the bedroom? Why is sex so taboo? Why do you have to stigmatize people who are having too much, too little sex? We should just not give a shit. I don't care what you do, you shouldn't care what I do, you shouldn't care what anybody else does, and that should be the end of the story. Anyways, I'm just tired of all the stereotypes I've seen flying around, so let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. I really think that we should try to destigmatize sex or lack of sex or whatever somebody's personal situation is. I'm tired of all the negative feelings that people have, the insecurities that people have, the guilt people have when they shouldn't. I'm just tired of all that. So let me know what you think. Like this video, share it everywhere, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you havenent already. Check out my website at jacquelineglenn.com if you want to get cool atheist t-shirts like this. Again, thank you to everyone supporting me on Patreon. If you want to be my Patreon, I'll have a link to that in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
There's no God, he doesn't exist, so don't try to save me. Use your fucking brain and leave us all alone. Subscribe!